Hello students, welcome to this second lecture of the mechanical properties of the fluid. So since now we have conducted our first lecture, if you have any doubt you can go there and visit that first video. Now we will be learning the next part of this chapter. But before we move ahead, we will just revising some part from the previous lecture, from the previous video. So as you can see, we have saw the definition of fluid. The fluid is nothing but the mixture of gases and the liquids, or the anything that can flow, but there should be some gases and the liquid should be there in which will be going to form the fluid. Now this was the definition of fluid that we were discussed in the previous video. Now we have already seen the properties of the ideal fluid, and the four properties of the ideal fluids are popping on your screen, so we will just see it again one by one. So as you can see, the first property is the ideal fluid, it should be incompressible and its density is constant. Means that ideal fluid cannot be get compressed by the any force, in the any case it should not be compressible, means it should be remain incompressible, and the density of that ideal fluid should be constant. Means density, we know what mean by the density, and it should be constant. Now the second one property is its a flow is irrotational. We have discussed. Now its a flow is smooth, means there should be the minimum friction between the fluid and the surface, and there are no turbulence in the flow. Turbulence means the oppose which offered by that surface to that liquid which is flowing over that fluid. Now after that, the third property of the ideal fluid is it is non-viscous. There is no internal friction in the flow. Means students, the intermolecules of that fluid should not be opposite each other. Means they should be non-viscous. Now means that ideal fluid has to possess the no viscosity or the negligible viscosity. Now the fourth and the last one property that we have discussed is its a flow is steady. Means its a velocity at each point is constant in time. Means that the flow with respect to the time, that flow of that fluid with respect to the time, it should be constant, it should be steady, it should not be changed with respect to the time. So these are the four properties of the ideal fluid we have discussed, student. And the next part we have discussed is, after that we have discussed is the properties of fluids. So there are three properties that we have discussed. First one is the fluid do not oppose the deformation. Means if you try for the deformation of that fluid, it will not oppose and they get permanently deformed. Means as the solid having the property that if you try to deform it into any section, into any plane, so there will be some restoring force you will be feeling, you will be experiencing some restoring force. But in case of these fluids, you won't be able to feel that restoring force and it will be get permanently deformed. So this is the first property of the fluid. And the second one is they have ability to flow. Means as we know that the fluid has ability to flow from the higher point level to the lower point level. Now third one property that we have discussed is they have the ability to take the shape of that container. Means suppose you have poured the fluid into the glass, then it will occupy the shape of that glass. If you pour that fluid into the container, then it will occupy the shape of that container. Means as per the shape you are pouring in a particular substance, that shape will be occupied by that fluid. So these are the three properties that we have discussed. After that, the next part we have discussed is the pressure. So as far as the pressure is concerned, a fluid at rest exerts the force on the surface of contact. Means as we know that if the fluid is lying over the surface, then there will be the application of force by the fluid over that surface. Now the surface may be wall or the bottom of an open container of the fluid. The normal force F exerted by the fluid at rest per unit surface area A can be given as the pressure, for which the formula will be P, means pressure will be equal to force upon area. Means pressure is nothing but the force applied by that fluid per unit area of that surface, per unit area of that particular substance. So this is nothing but the definition and the formula for the pressure. After that, the part we have learned is the SI unit and the formula for the pressure. So the SI unit of the pressure is Newton per meter square, or you can write in a way Newton meter raised to minus 2. This is the another way to write the formula for the pressure. Now 1 Newton per meter square is equal to 1 Pascal. So this is the one of the relation that we have to use while solving the problems. So you have to keep in your mind that 1 Newton per meter square is equal to 1 Pascal. Now the dimensions of the pressure is L raised to minus 1, M raised to 1 and T raised to minus 2. So this will be the dimensions for the pressure. Now pressure is a scalar quantity, as we know that the difference between the scalar and the vector quantity. So you may get this very easily that the pressure is a scalar quantity. Now other common units of the measuring pressure is the gas. Of the gas is bar and the torr. As you can see, bar and the torr. So after that we will see the relation of bar. So the 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square, or you can say that the 1 bar is equal to 10 raised to 5 Newton meter raised to minus 2. So in this two way we can write the relation between the 1 bar and the Newton per meter 1 Newton per meter square pressure. Now 1 hectopascal will be equal to 100 Pascal. So you have to keep this relation in your mind that 1 hectopascal is equal to 100 Pascal. So these are the few relations that we have seen. Now we will move toward the next part of this chapter. Now students, the next part of this chapter we will see now. Now you can see the diagram which is of pressure due to a liquid column. Means we have to verify, we have to understand how the column will exert the pressure over the liquid. So we will see now. So as you can see that a vessel is filled with the liquid, means the object which is looking like a container, which has also called as the vessel. So it is filled with the liquid. Now we have to calculate the pressure exerted by an imaginary cylinder of cross-sectional area A. Means you can see there a imaginary cylinder having the area of cross-section A. Now we have to find out the pressure exerted by the cylinder over that liquid which is inside that vessel. So this is what we have to find. Now inside the container, let density of that fluid be rho. Means the fluid which has been inserted, which has been poured into that vessel, having the density of rho, as we are generally using the sign for the symbol for the density is rho, and the height of the imaginary cylinder be h. Means the imaginary cylinder which of which the pressure we are going to calculate having the height of h. Now the liquid column exert the pressure force will be, means the force which will be applied by that liquid column over that liquid will be F is equal to mg, as we already aware of this, the basic formula for the force. Now which is it's a weight on the bottom of the cylinder. Means you can see that the bottom of that cylinder firstly will be applying the force over that liquid rather than that of the upper surface of that cylinder. So this is the force which will be applied by that base of that cylinder over that liquid. Now this force acts in the downward direction. As we can understand, we can guess that this force will be in downward direction as the cylinder will be moving from the surface of the water towards the bottom of that vessel. So this will be the downward force. Now the pressure exerted by the liquid column on that bottom cylinder will be, now student will be seeing, we are going to see the pressure which has been applied by that column and which has been applied by that bottom of that cylinder over that liquid, which will be P is equal to F by A. Hence the pressure which will be applied by that bottom of that cylinder on that liquid will be P is equal to F by A. As we know that the P is the pressure, F is the force and the A is the area of that cylinder which we have already considered. Now we have already aware that students F is equal to mg, that the force is equal to product of mass into gravity. So we have just replaced the value of F which will be mg. So and the next part we have written as it is, you can see into the second step, that the P is equal to mg by A. So up to this it is easy to understand. Now we will see the next calculation or the next part of the derivation. Now as we know that the mass means mass may be also written as volume of cylinder into the density of liquid. Means as we know that mass may be also given as mass is nothing but the total matter content, but in this case the product of volume of cylinder into the density of liquid. So as we know that the volume of cylinder will be that area into height, means it will be nothing but A into H, as you can see, into rho, means rho is the density of that liquid we have already concerned. Now this entire formula for the mass, entire product of this mass will be A into H into rho. So this is the value of mass we have calculated, which is A into H into rho. Now this value of mass we will simply put into the above equation. We will get P is equal to, instead of M we will put the value of M, it will be P is equal to A into H into rho into G divided by A. So this will be the formula. Now the A from the numerator and the A from the denominator will be get cancelled, and the remaining term will be P, means pressure, is equal to H into rho into G. So this is the formula. This is the pressure P due to the liquid of density rho at rest and the depth H below the free surface. It will be H rho G. So this is the derivation we have derived for the pressure, means pressure due to the liquid column. But one more important thing we have to take into consideration is that the pressure does not depend on the area of the imaginary cylinder, means the cylinder which we have considered, which is the imaginary, that the pressure is not dependent on that area of that cylinder used for the derived for the expression. Means students, whatever the area of that imaginary cylinder we have considered, the pressure is not dependent of it. It is independent of that area of imaginary cylinder. So this is the entire expression. So in short, we will just revise again. Now students, we will be discussing about the atmospheric pressure. Now as we know that the earth atmospheric pressure is made up of a fluid. So as we know that earth atmospheric pressure is consisting of the gaseous molecules as well as the fluids, so to which we called as the air. Now it exerts the pressure, that fluid plus gases exert the pressure in downward direction, and which will be termed as the weight. Now student, we will be seeing that atmospheric pressure. This is what the atmospheric pressure we have to discuss now. Now as you can say that the point and the extending to that top of that atmosphere, clearly that the atmosphere pressure is highest at the surface of the earth. Means as you can see, if you go away from the earth's surface, the atmospheric pressure of the earth will be goes on decreasing, and as you will be closer to the earth's surface, so there will be the higher atmospheric pressure. Means at the sea level and the degrees as you will go above. Now the atmospheric pressure at the sea level is called as the normal atmospheric pressure. Means at the sea level from which we can consider the initiation measurement point of the earth atmospheric pressure, to which also called as the normal atmospheric pressure. Now the density of the air in the atmospheric decreases with the increase in height and becomes negligible beyond the height about 8 km, so that the height of air column producing the atmospheric pressure at the sea level can be taken to be 8 km. Means students, density also, you can consider the density also, it goes on decreasing as you will go at height from the earth's surface, but at some certain height of 8 km it will be negligible. So this is the air column producing the atmospheric pressure at sea level can be taken at the 8 km. Now this region where the gas pressure is less than the atmospheric pressure, means at this height from the earth's surface, the gas pressure, the pressure of gas will be lesser than the atmospheric pressure, so it is called as the vacuum. Now the perfect or absolute vacuum is where no matter, means there will be absence of smallest particles, So there we can say it is the vacuum. Now that is no atoms or the molecules are present. So as we have earlier discussed, there will be no atoms or the molecules present in the atmosphere. Now vacuum refers to the condition when the gas pressure is considerably smaller than the atmospheric pressure. So when we can say that there is a vacuum, that there is existence of vacuum, when the gas pressure is considerably smaller, means there will be low gas pressure should be there and than that of the atmospheric pressure. So this is nothing but the atmospheric pressure we have discussed, students. So the next part of this mechanical properties of the fluid chapter we will discuss in the next video. Thank you so much.